All right, hey everybody, welcome back to the IconNick Things or Most IconNick Things podcast. Today is a great episode 2, and today I actually have a special guest who's also another content creator, a really good friend of mine. The man is very well known in the YouTube realm, and also he's a man with many talents. In wrestling, plumbing, security, you name it, he probably has done it. God knows, only know how many jobs this guy's had. I would like to welcome my good friend, also known on his social media as Disciple. You guys probably know him as also he is a Toronto rapper, underground coming up or so they say. But yeah, why don't you introduce yourself?
That was really good. Yeah, it was really hard for me not to ad-lib on that because you're doing really good on that intro. But yeah, man, how y'all doing? I go by Disciple. I probably sound a little bit funny right now because I'm a little bit congested. So shout out to your host, IconNick, for risking H1N1 to interview me today.
Oh God, I haven't heard that in God knows how long, right. In like high school times.
Yeah,
Jesus.
I had to do an obscure disease because I could have said COVID, but that's too played out.
I think people get too sensitive about that. Exactly, but anyways, moving along. So since you are my first guest for the second episode,
thanks for having me.
I've came up with some questions and all that stuff so we can get started. So just to let the viewers know, I did kind of started to do like try to get some more people on the pod. But cool. This one, he's a good friend and also got me into content creating, so that's why he has to be the first. So we're gonna move along. So we're gonna start. So I have one question, and excuse me if I stutter a little bit, guys. Having a learning disability that requires to read kind of sucks, but hey.
It's not that, guys. I make him a little nervous. It's okay.
Yeah. So to give some description, he's a very tall, African guy. And
Charlie, don't
go there. Don't go there. We'll get flagged for that.
No papers. Okay.
Jesus. Okay. Anyways, So my first question for you, Disciple,
all right.
I'm going to refer to you as your persona. Let's go with that.
Let's do it.
All right. What is the most iconic thing to you that, just in general, like in pop culture or anything like that?
Recently or like ever?
Anything.
Okay. It's a very nuanced question.
Yeah, it's a very broad question. It makes you think.
Yeah, I mean that's your first one. God damn, you gave me.
Yeah. Trust me. If you knew where I came up with these questions, I had to sit down in jury duty coming up with this. So I was bored. So man had to be in his thoughts.
Wow. Well, I guess to start with, iconic is a very important word. In fact, iconic is a word that you all should keep in your membranes for this podcast. Iconic is the word of the day.
It's
the week, in fact.
I remember it's not with that. You also need the nick part because I give a little bit of
I mean, you cut you do a superficial cut. You cut deep. That's the nick. Icon and the nick is what I'm saying. There's bars there.
Okay. So we're not gonna make a hot 16 right now. Get to the point.
So if I was gonna answer your question, I would say the iconic thing recently would be coming up with that because that was fire. I guess I relate to maybe recently would just be just being focused and finding. I've always felt that I would say in general, not just for myself, but also in general, like finding my purpose and sticking to it and moving through that is pretty iconic because it allows you to be able to be tunnel vision and allows you to kind of weed through all the noise. We live in a generation where there's a lot of distraction. There's a lot of, false heroes, false sense of morality, false sense of what people should be doing. And I know there's a lot of things that are subjective, but there's also a lot of things that we need to understand that there is such a thing as good and evil. There is such a thing as right and wrong. Not everything is, secular. Not everything is...
Or black and white.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like, sorry to add to that, like a lot of people going along with this like topic, right? When I say like iconic things, right? Or iconic, right? It's in a broad spectrum in the sense of like, it doesn't need to be something like, I usually use it for like anime books or like even like certain events.
Or yourself.
Or myself. Duh. Right? Like, so it's like a good thing because I feel like a lot of people now are, I won't say too influenced by people, right? I feel like people need to like have like a self-reflection and be like, what makes me, right? And then like find that iconic thing and then use that as like the skill to move forward, or find the focus, right?
Yeah, and quite frankly, like we gotta acknowledge how difficult that truly is, because, you know, it's harder for people to really know like who they are these days, because we're so influenced by so many things, especially on like, you know, from the age of 3, all your little, a lot of times like a lot of who you're gonna be, or some of your things, some of your ideals kind of come in life and there's so much to influence you. It's not easy to kind of find that and then find something justified and that sort of thing. It's very difficult nowadays, because I can say I was definitely influenced by a lot around me,
which is usually normal.
But I honestly think that was okay at the time. You know, I think generally, like we had a better sense generationally about, again, right from wrong. You know, what people should be doing, you know, about not making it not being selfish, not just thinking about yourself, but thinking about the benefit of, you know, humanity. That was like the things that you would see everywhere. That was just, you know, what we all had ideals, you know, outside of just ourselves. So I think at the time that was cool for me, but nowadays, it might not be a good idea to just be influenced by, you know, what's around you, what's in the media, especially with social media, because, you know,
sometimes that can lead to especially with like mental health right now.
It's nuts.
Which is like it's insane.
Well, but
anyways, we don't want to make this conversation a little depressing. But let's move forward.
Well,
I know if you want to add it, because so for listeners, me and Rand, Disciple, sorry, not going to use this Govey. We've known each other for quite a bit.
Yeah,
almost 2 years ish.
Something like that.
But we're pretty much like two peas in a pod.
Yeah.
But different generations, but we got along, and the way we met is very interesting, which will bring me to not my next question, but something to add to that, to add to people that what drew me to Randy was a very iconic thing that I grew up with.
I told you he's going to say that a lot, guys.
Be prepared, because if you were to get a quarter for every time I say iconic, we would be a rich society.
Take a shot.
Moving forward. How I met Randy was through work. Before Randy is where he is now. Do you care if I specify?
Yeah, I'm cool.
All right. So Randy was a security guard for a place that I worked as a custodial. And you know when you just like have like a person and you just click. And the irony to this was he had AirPods that were charging on the floor, and he had a little case over it, and the case around it was a Digivice, yes. But me being me, I had to do like a double take, guys, because it was just like, no way. Because if you see who I'm talking to, you'd be like, this guy's not into this stuff, right? And it's just like one of those things where I say like, never judge a book by its cover. That's why you read the summary or read the back of the book. Get to know the person, right? And it is a very hard thing, because we all judge by covers, which is completely normal. But I'm like, I took the chance of like, you know, saying what's up, asking like, hey, are you into this? And from there, it went like downhill, because we found out we're more alike than anything, to the point where like our significant others were like Jesus.
Yeah.
Right.
And don't judge by a book by the cover. Judge from undercovers. Have a lot of sex.
Dude, PG-13 over here.
Oh yeah. Oops.
Anyways, moving. So that was what I would say for my next question is what was the most iconic thing that in your past, in your life? So this one, because of my friendship with him, I do cherish our friendship, and I think that was a very iconic thing, because that's what drew me into starting a conversation with someone, right?
Nice.
So cool. That would be my next question to you, because I answered. So because that's how our friendship started. Right? Was just that one interaction, which like it's very simple, and talking about like, Digimon. Anyone that knows Digimon, if you want my personal preference, I think Digimon is better than Pokemon. As like,
without question.
As like, just to add, I'm not hating on Pokemon. It's more just like, I love the characters, the fact that you are more interacting. There's more like, even like...
there's more of a story. Like Pokemon is a great game, great concept. It was fun.
Like if it wasn't like the thing is like,
as far as
if there wasn't Pokemon, people say there wouldn't be Digimon. Personally, I do get that understanding. I'm just saying as a personal preference, as for storytelling, for like the actual like Digimon, because they could also communicate with you, right?
Digimon was about like a relationship and like forming a bond, creating strength. Pokemon was about just training and being better and getting badges and getting rewards, but it was all the glory kind of went to the trainer, which is cool and everything. But
it still had some Pokemon development. It's just it was more of like they treated them more like pets,
like lackeys.
Kind of, yeah.
Like, but I still like my Pokemon.
Yeah, everyone likes Pokemon, guys. It's just a matter of opinion. I'm not trying to shoot anybody.
Yeah, don't get mad at Nintendo.
And on top of that, like if anyone knows, those Mega Evolutions for Digimon got nothing. Like those guys are on like another type of Riz, right? Like where Pokemon had to bring Mega Evolutions.
They did take that.
They did. Let's be honest, that was a little taken from that. And let's be honest, when we got the Mega Evolutions, everyone was like, "Oh shit." You know what I mean? Moving forward,
even like the Digimon fusions, like the DNA Digivolve,
where it took like the best both parts of like each character.
Pokemon kind of took that with Kyurem. Remember they had the Kyurem Black and Zekrom.
Oh yeah, where it had to fuse with like that one like
Zekrom, Reshiram. Yeah, I'm telling you. But anyway, so we can go on tangents. We got to keep it focused. We got to keep it on.
So just to let everyone know, me and Randy have me and Disciple.
Yeah, get their name right, bro.
There's a lot of Randys out there. There's Randy Orton, Randy Sanders, Randy something.
Yeah, what's someone from American Idol? Anyways, keep going.
Okay. Anyways, sorry. Just to give some people, sometimes we'll
go on.
Divert from a conversation because we have a nasty habit of doing that.
You're only going to get 2 questions out.
Yeah, I know, and we're like 11 minutes in, I think. Right. But anyways, so so from your childhood. What was like from your childhood to now, right? What was the most iconic thing that affected you in a sense?
Wow.
Like that like, I would say like if I was to put on an age, let's say let's give it to like end of high school, like growing up from a kid to high school, right? So what would you say was something iconic that like to this day you'd be like, you remember?
Okay.
It could be TV shows, anything.
Dang, man. You're asking the deep question. I wasn't prepared for all this because it's hard to single it down to just one thing because there's so many things that...
Oh, you could have tiebreakers, my guy.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like what would be like... I might have to do like a top 5 at this point because, I will say, like I said, TV and media was like a big part of it because things were a lot less... Okay, like I said, things weren't about like... It was about kind of being... Like let's say you're growing up, for example, a lot of people, another I'll call time classic is Dragon Ball. People watch Goku their whole lives growing up, and now they might be, weightlifters, there might be athletes, or there might be just people that want to succeed in life and push beyond their limits and,
over 9,000.
All of that.
You know what? It's funny that you bring up that. There is quite a few influencers that I follow and stuff like that. And like some of them do say like, that Goku is their role model, right?
Understandably so.
Yeah. Which I say to people like, hey, your role model doesn't need to be an actual person. It's cool if it is. Like it could be your father or someone you admire. It's not that. It's what I think in that sense is, someone that can inspire you to find your true potential that you didn't know you had.
Yeah, exactly. A role model it's actually kind of cool for it not to be necessarily a real person because a role model should be someone that you strive to want to have the best qualities because you're never going to do it. You don't want to become another person.
Hey,
you're
let's
never
be
going to
honest,
do that. But
Goku ain't perfect either.
Definitely not. I wouldn't strive to be a father like Goku, but that's a whole other thing.
He's not a bad father. There's worse.
If
we're to do a top 10 like worst fathers, let's be honest, the guy from Full Metal Alchemist would be the worst.
We just have the bad dad Olympics, like the
bad dad Olympics.
Yeah, but anyways, the bottom line is like you just try to take the best qualities of people you admire and just try to live up to those things as best you can. That's how you try to just get better. And like you're not gonna do it or be perfect, but it's like just try. The striving for that is admirable, and like you said, don't be too caught up in like praising like whoever's the star or the mainstream person, whoever's like the big people of nowadays, because not everything's about image and stuff like that. And obviously, especially with social media, they're going to put their best qualities up forward. But it's not a bad thing to try to, model yourself after positive, good, things that people do, and trying to live up to that and trying to apply that to yourself. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing is wrong with that. Yeah. But yeah, we're going to move on. We're going to move on to the next question, which is...
I don't even think I answered it, but my bad.
No, it's all good. No, it's all good. So this one's going to be interesting. What is something that you do that's iconic to you?
Okay.
Right? And I'll use it as an example for me. A lot of people who do know me, I have a very, how should I say? I won't say obnoxious sneeze, but a very it's me sneezing, because I have a nasty habit of always sneezing in threes or sneezing in sevens. And
that's very specific.
Oh yeah, very specific. Hence why I say this. And they're very and I say achoo to put people like that. And I'm like, I am not joking with you. I've done this since I was a little kid. Wow. And honestly, I feel like it's a genetic trait, because my dad, when he sneezes, you can have gaming headphones on, your door closed, you will hear this man. And damn. I have inherited that loud, obnoxious sneeze. That is something I would say one of my quirks that makes me iconic.
You that one character off of, what was that show, Animaniacs, that had the big sneeze? That this whole... It was
Wacko?
I forget what it was, but it was like a little chipmunk looking thing, and then...
Oh, yes. I know who you're talking about. I don't remember his name. Yeah, but Animaniacs, another very iconic show that I feel like sometimes... I know that they did a reboot, which I've watched.
They did?
On that. Yeah.
It's probably terrible.
No, actually, it's not that bad, because they got the original guy to come back.
Oh, okay, that's the difference.
So I know that the original voice actor, he came back, and honestly, I will give it credit where credit's due, because sometimes certain reboots are not the greatest.
Yeah.
But moving along. So, Disciple, what makes you iconic? What is something you do personally that you know that when you do it, people know that's you?
That's iconic. Well, my significant other likes and dislikes this, but
because I was about to say the next question's gonna bring that back up. Oh,
great! But basically, I have a tendency when we're out in public, whether it be a mall,
I know where this is going.
Whether it be in store, whether we're just walking on the street, and I'm very how should I say, friendly and jovial, and I make jokes with people that I don't know in a way that's very
You mean like the time you photobombed, that time we were hanging out?
Yeah, you see. You remember that?
No, I do. On the street. You're talking about the guy sometimes who has like a graphic memory.
Let me tell the people. These people were taking a photo, and I think that actually, was it a photo? Or were they doing like a TikTok? I remember.
No. They were trying to take a picture, and we were behind them, and then I passed them because we were trying to go back to the building. Yeah, and then you stopped. You and I were
mid conversation, and I'm talking to them again. And I noticed, and I just literally walk off. I just got into the picture, but again, they loved it, and then that was a laugh. I gave them a good time. They were chilling. They enjoyed.
Meanwhile, just to put a description on, guys, Randy is like 6'4",
6'6". So I can get away with stuff like this. People are gonna. Yes. But at the same time, it's not like I'm doing anything malicious. It's not like I'm gonna. Oh no, it's out of harmless fun. Yeah, you got to know how to tread that line, because a lot of people, you don't know how people are feeling. But I look at it like this, and I can see on the looks on people's faces, you don't know what people are going through. Sometimes something like that can make someone's day that's having a terrible day, like a little joke. I'll see, one of the things I like to do too is the stuff at IKEA, the stuff that has funny names, I'll make jokes about it. The
IKEA names are hilarious.
Yeah, so there's a brand of pillow, it's called Girly. So I went up to this elderly lady and I said, hey, do you think I should get this pillow? And she's like, oh, well, if you'd like to. And I said, really? Because I think it's a little bit too girly. And I'll show her the name of the pillow, and then she'll start laughing. There's stuff like that. You don't know. You just put a smile on people's faces. Right there would say that's a very iconic trait. Yeah, it's a good time.
Because you do it at a harmless fun, where it's sometimes you can make someone's day. Which, guys, I could say, sometimes, someone needs to have a good laugh, which is a good thing.
Yeah, you know what people are going through. Hell, you don't even know, for example, stuff like that. I'm not even trying to just be funny. That shit could end racism. You never know. Oh, I can't curse, can I?
I won't enforce it, but let's just not try to curse.
Well, stuff like that can help deal with, you don't know, I could be the first, brother that they dealt with. And look at me. Or maybe they had bad interactions with black people in the past, but I just come in with my sense of humor, and they're like, oh, you know what? Maybe they're not so bad. You never know. It could be like that for some people.
I feel like it's just... again, it's like there's always good and bad in every type of culture.
Yeah. Or I could have done the opposite, but that's besides the point.
Well, yeah, well, let's stop that. But we're going to move on to the next question, right? So it is something you do that's iconic, but everyone else hates, right? So for me, my significant other, because of the way I sneeze and stuff like that, or like, or if I would try to mess with her, she thinks I'm very dramatic.
Okay.
Right? So
you're pretty dramatic.
Have you met yourself?
No, you're more dramatic than me, for sure.
The pun guy who would be like grabbing every item from Winners.
You're being dramatic right now. Look at this guy.
Really? You want to go there? At least I can find my shoe size at Winners. How about that?
See, look at the drama. You guys see the drama from just that one comment.
The beef. But yeah, no.
Okay, Degrassi.
Oh God, let's not talk about that. You know, it's just, but anyways, so do you have a trait that like some people who know you would be like, God, Randy, like.
Yeah, so I can literally put the same example out there because, like, the reason, and this is the reason why I said, like, you know, she loves that I'm like this, and she loves that I'm friendly, and that I'm so, you know, like cool like that, and how I carry myself. But at the same time, we have places to go, and we're on a time crunch. I'm not very, like you said, I'm a really in the moment type person, and if I'm making like, especially if it's a magical moment, like, and like like I've had interactions like I had with you where. You know, I left my Digivice there and someone says, yo, that's amazing. In New York, like how we became friends. I've had stuff like that with other things. Like I'll notice, like even people walk around the mall. Like I was wearing my, what's it called? My Akatsuki jacket. And they'd be like, yo, that jacket's sick. And I'm like, yeah, it's cool. I got it from someone. Oh, you got it from there? Bro, I watched that too. And we're talking about, hey, yeah, and we're making friends. We're on a first name basis, and she's just sitting there like, yeah, but we gotta go because you have to pick up this. You have to go. You only have 20 minutes.
It kind of is like the thing is like your sense of time kind of just disappears when you start.
Oh, I'm hyperbolic time chamber, completely different time use.
Jesus, you just had to stutter that a little bit. You had to get that out there.
Yeah, man, because a whole lot of stuff. Okay. Look at this, Randy. You probably wanted this interview to be 10 minutes, but it's gonna be at least 40.
This is a podcast, my guys. I've seen podcasts go for 5 hours.
Oh, good. You probably gonna need 5 hours. You know?
I could talk about the inside of a goddamn tennis ball if I really want to make it entertaining.
Yeah,
but let's move on. Okay, so let's move on to a really interesting one that I made, an interesting question.
Yeah.
What, in your own opinion, makes something iconic?
Okay. What? Is that the 50th time you said it? Oh.
No, well, I don't know. We're at like 30, I thought. But anyways, So I'll give an example. Like, I think more of like it's something that either impacts you or something that you didn't expect to happen. Like, as a great example, we'll use Dragon Ball Z because, you know, me and you are big Dragon Ball Z fans. We'll say, like, the first time Goku turned into a Super Saiyan. The struggle that he had to deal with Frieza, because if anyone knows and you lived in Canada, every time a new episode came back, you would have to start all the way from the beginning. And that's why a lot of people hate Raditz. But moving along from that, I think when the fact that, like, he had no other way and he was like at his low where it's just like, this man killed my best friend and I can't bring him back. And he's like, nah, this is enough. I'm done playing. I'm done being the nice guy. And he awakened his inner potential, becoming a Super Saiyan. I think like in the aspect of what makes something iconic is it impacts you in a certain way. It doesn't need to be anime. It could just be like, you know, an instance where like, you know, a firefighter saw you had like a bad day, or even just like a random stranger and they just like asked you like, hey, are you okay? Something like that.
I think something iconic I think it has to do with something that you see, something that maybe something that you did that I think kind of brought unity as far as people's perception of it, the understanding of it, what they would do in that situation is kind of a thing where like, because people can be polarizing, but there's a thing where like majority of people see that thing and understand the magnitude of it and they go, yeah, I'm with you here. Like you do that. I support you that you should do this. I would do the same thing. And it kind of appeals to like your inner child or something that like, you know, you see and you're like, yeah.
That gives you like that spark kind of thing, right?
Yeah, like that's me. I would do that. I want to be like that. I want that. Good you did it. Like hell, even like, you know, there's not a whole lot of stuff, especially nowadays where it seems like everyone can agree on. Like there's things that, again, there's universal truths that people don't even agree on. Like there's people that are arguing if water's wet, you know, they're arguing all sorts of dumb stuff. Like we argue, that's why I hate the term devil's advocate, because I think that's exactly what it is, not to get religious with it, but it's people that want to just cause confusion. And like, you can understand that 2 + 2 = 4. And someone will say, no, 2 + 2 can equal, 3, but +5, but -4. And it's like, well, like, why do you have to, like, why can't we just agree to, like, what?
It brings up like the other term, to agree to disagree, right? Like everyone's going to have different views on a lot of things.
I don't like that one though, agree to disagree, because sometimes you're just wrong.
Hold on.
Sometimes people are just wrong.
No, I'm not saying you're not wrong on that. What I mean when I say to agree to disagree, right? Like, do I think we need to have an argument about if water's wet? Right? Let's be honest. No. Any type of that, there's no agree to disagree. Water is wet. That's how I view it. But we're not going to get into that. Yeah. But like, when you can have a conversation with someone might have an opposite opinion with you, right? But at the end of the day, I can respect your opinion. You can respect mine. That's the agree to disagree, right? Yeah, we might not agree on this one thing, but in other things we can agree on.
Well, it's worthy having the discussion. It's fun to have discussion. I love to have, like you said, debates where it's like you can kind of see different perspectives, and it's kind of cool, and it's like fun. Like it's not like a argument filled with like vitriol and all that. It's just you guys have like people that'll debate. Like I'll debate. Itachi is Itachi better than Madara, stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like we
don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole, because that's
exactly. We're not going to go on that tangent because Itachi's the GOAT, but that's besides the point.
Well, I'm agreeing with you on that, but let's be honest. So Madara said
we're not doing this. We're not doing this. We're not.
Itachi as a character is iconic. Gosh. But hear me out.
Oh no.
Hear me out. But when Madara said that famous speech he said, right? You can't say that man didn't spit a bar.
What speech are you talking about? He has a lot of speeches.
The one where he says to the first Hokage, and I'm paraphrasing because it's been a while, where he says that everything is like an illusion, or wake up to reality, right? I think he says this to Naruto when he comes back, when he gets reanimated. Sorry, my mistakes. He says like, wake up to reality. I don't remember what else he says, but it pretty much just goes to basing like, some things that no matter how you try to change it, there's just some things you just have to accept the way this is what it is. You have to accept the way it is the way it is, right? Like two people who do not like each other and they're in a constant fight, right? And sometimes there's no way around it, right? It's like saying like there's going to be people that don't like you. And it is what it is. And kind of like something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but I got to give the man some props on that. But I'm still going to agree with you. I think Itachi is a little more iconic than him.
Yeah.
The man literally, well, we're going to get into this, but...
You're doing this against my will. I don't want to do this.
But anyways, let's move on because we're not going to get into that.
But basically why I even bring that up is like, it's basically... as well as to get at humility, people being able to understand that like they can be wrong, and like to be able to kind of have those discussions and be like, hey, that's a good point there. I'll consider that, and then kind of be able to. I think you should constantly like revise, reflect on yourself. What you're doing, why you're doing it, and if it's something, even if it's something that you want to do or something that you should be doing, because I think people just do a lot of things and they don't really actually think about like why they do it, and they usually just do it because other people are doing it, and and they don't actually think about like, is this something that I even want to do? Are these even my thoughts? Are these even my opinions? Or is this what I even agree to? And a lot of times you'd be surprised if you really do that type of inner work, but a lot of people don't want to do that. A lot of people want to blame other things for the reason why they did this stuff. Like my favorite is, I had no choice, or this is what I need. I have to do this, or they made me do it. That's another one that's crazy. Like at the end of the day, there's some things that are out of your control, but a lot of times you have there's a lot that you can control. There's a lot that you should be accountable for, and accountability is a really important thing. Like if you're going to do something, and commit to what you did and why you did it, and if it's something that is not justifiable, you got to take the L and kind of be able to say, you know what, I should have done that, and I'm going to improve. Accept,
yeah. It's one of those things where people have to, take like, I think it could be like a bit of a pride thing, especially with
definitely.
like I think within men too and women or whatever,
Yes.
that, there's going to be times where you just need to take the L and move forward from it and try to not make the same mistakes.
It's not a big deal. It's because people want to act like, if they admit they were wrong about something, like it's over, like they'll burst into flames and the game is over. It's just done. It's like,
this
no.
ain't Fire Force. This ain't.
Yeah. It's okay to be like, hey, I was wrong. You're right. Like you take, like, what's the big deal of just saying that? It's like, it's like, it's not over once you do that.
I think it's just because a lot of people have an ego problem.
Yeah. Like, even in the face of irrefutable evidence, people do that. Like, it's like, I'm the best. I'd beat anybody. I'd beat you in this game. And it's like, you play the game and then you don't. It's like, nah, man, you was cheating. It's like,
it's pulling a John in a sense.
Yeah, I guess so, man. It's like,
for people who know what I'm talking about, it's a reference to Smash. A person who was in a Smash tournament that would make tons of excuses, and in the Smash community, they would say like, you're pulling a John. Yeah,
like I think the difference between this generation and past generations is like, back in the days or even recent. Oh, actually, I was going to say recent, but the 90s aren't even recent anymore. That's a whole other thing. But life was all about results, and life was really result based. And it's like, if you don't perform, you don't eat, you don't get recognized, you don't survive. And that's fair. It's not like things we're just kind of just like, people respect the results that people produce, and the means, what they're able to provide, the value they're able to provide in society. So if you perform, you're respected, and that makes sense, right? But now, because things are so comfortable, and modern, the modern world is so civilized, but it's such a sense of safety around us that we take all those things for granted, and now we think that we deserve that respect without actually earning it. We don't understand. How come you guys respect this guy and not me? And it's like, well, let's go. They had to work hard to build their wealth, and maybe you were born into it or other things, and people don't want to face that.
Sorry, to add to that, right? Like, sometimes, it's a situational thing, right? You can respect someone who started from the bottom and worked their way up. But someone who has higher opportunities, right? Yeah. You also now have, I won't say an obligation, but like, if you're going to get into something, you got to prove that, like, I was given this opportunity by my parents, but I'm good at what I got, and not say that, like, I started from the bottom kind of thing, where, like, it brings like up that controversy and like a bit of a respect thing, right?
Yes.
Like, there's a fine line, like, hey, if you started from the bottom and then you work your way up and you become, let's say, an a-hole, right? Then you don't have my respect. But let's say someone who came into money or whatever the situation gets even a higher position, but like that person was also taught certain values, and be like, his or her or anything in between, their parents were like, they instilled like, hey, you still got to be a little humble.
Yeah,
right? Like,
definitely.
there's a time to be like the boss. There's a time to be like, situational.
Humility is very important. Humility protects us from going too far and kind of like losing our place in a lot of things.
Yes. All right. Well, let's move on to the next question, since we got into a deep conversation with that, guys. Sure. So, Mr. Disciple, this is another one. So, what superhero was iconic to you growing up? Right? To make it easier, we're gonna take anime out of this.
I got it. I was gonna go to a different route because I don't want to do too much. As I watched a lot of stuff, so I got to take it to a really big one for both of us. But definitely with me was, I like my Power Rangers.
We're talking about the first original 3 series, right?
Of course, right? Of course. Okay. The goat of all goats. Rest in peace to the man Jason David Frank, as Tommy the Green Ranger,
and White.
Okay, yeah, that too.
And the White Ninja Ranger.
We do like that, but it's all about green.
And then the Red Zero Ranger.
It was all about the Dragon Sword. And then he was the Black Dino Thunder guy.
But Back in Black, my guy.
Yeah, that was
Black and
cool.
Gold too. That was hard drip. Those shoulder pads.
He did that to let Jason know the Gold Ranger ain't shit. But that's besides the point.
No. We're not gonna start attacking people. Jesus.
It's not, but it is Tommy over Jason all day. But that's besides the point. But
the man came in as the White Ranger and took over the whole team.
This man said, "I'm the 6th Ranger, but this is my team." But anyways, that's besides the point. But it goes to show like as a hero, he was the guy, man. Like he had we didn't even know what swag was back in the day, but he just had everything intangibly.
Because we might have different ages of people. To the younger generation, swag is like the old time.
They know what swag is. They know they have to know what swag is.
Well, dude, now it's all about Riz.
Oh gosh,
which is like questionable sometimes when someone uses the word. But anyways, moving along. So you're saying Power Rangers and the specific character of the Green Ranger.
Yeah, sorry, Jolene.
Jolene. So just to let the viewer know, Mr. Disciple has a beautiful dog named Jolene, and she's a bit of an attention seeker.
Yeah, look, she's on your mic right now.
Oh, Jesus. All right. You're so cute, I know. But let's move along. All right, Disciple, you want to take your beautiful dog?
Yeah. So what was I even saying?
Give her the attention she needs.
Yes, baby girl. I know. But yeah, Jason David Frank was big for me growing up. Actually, me and my sister, because we both got into Power Rangers. I was like, she was older, but like we had some TV shows that kind of crossed over that we both could get into, similar in an age, that were cool for everybody at that time. And Tommy was the coolest, man. Like, all the Power Rangers were related, because obviously it's, they're young at the time, kids going to school, just cool kids.
Which they weren't even teenagers at the time. I think they were in their 20s.
That was back when teenagers looked like they're 30. But that's
really?
a whole other thing. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother discussion. Yeah. So I will agree with you on that. Growing up, Power Rangers was a big influence. But you want to know, it's a very I'm trying to think of a good one. Mm-hmm. For the people who didn't grow up in the 90s, there was a lot of shows that were influenced by Power Rangers. I don't know if you remember this, but do you remember Big Bad Beetleborgs?
Of course, man. I love that show.
So the thing that drew me into the fact is, like, they use like actual like preteens as to be the superheroes.
Yeah, they actually looked younger. They actually
those kids were like 12, 11, maybe 13, 14. Like they were kids.
Yeah.
They were kids giving superpowers. And then they had to learn the responsibilities of like something that they wanted as kids had a negative impact, which I really liked the show. I would say
especially when they went metallic.
Oh, I thought those colors were cool.
Yeah.
You know who was? It was when they got like that fourth guy who was like a white, like what was it? He was like a type of beetle thing, and then he lost his powers. And I'm like, this is looking like Power Rangers all over.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's the same. It's all Saban, so you can't copyright yourself. But at the same time, one thing I'll say about that was that show. Because I know the thing with Saban, they're using footage from the original Japanese. So were they anatomically correct in size between the kids' version and how tall they were when they transformed?
So when they transform, you know how they got taller a little bit?
Yeah.
So that is footage of like the characters that are regular height.
Yeah, but I swear that was the thing. Yeah, they were kids. When they transformed, they got big because the whole thing was magic, right? Like they were in some haunted house.
Yeah. The ghost guy or whatever.
Yeah, that's how they justified it.
Honestly, it's 90s. So let's
exactly. We didn't question it.
Yeah, we didn't question it. That's the beauty about the 90s. You just didn't question it, go with it. So because the next question is kind of the same thing, but let's go with more let's go with like basic TV shows. Okay. Like not cartoon and not like kind of superhero based, but what TV show was iconic to you growing up?
Okay.
Right, like, well, I'll give like some examples for some people. Like Friends would be a great example, right? The Brady Bunch, Golden
Girls, yeah.
Thank you. I know you like that secretly. It's your guilty pleasure.
Hey, I'll let people know, man. Golden Girls is on point, man. Blanche.
What else?
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was pretty iconic.
Yeah. No. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air touched a lot of topics, especially for the Black community at that particular time.
It did. Right? It did.
Because it also brought like the fact that Carlton is a character who was,
he was washed,
like
preppy boy.
Yeah, like he was also oblivious to a lot of the things that like people who weren't privileged.
Yeah.
Right, like his father had to start from the bottom and then work his way up. Yeah. And I think it was also the same thing with his sister. And then when Will came into the picture, it's like, you guys don't really know what it's like.
Yeah, that's why him coming in shook things up, because it gave them a sense of real, and he was the wild card in every equation. So like while they're being brought up and given everything kind of in a good thing, in a good situation, they still had to realize, the value of everything that they had through him, and kind of you see the difference between the come up and being born into it.
He kind of humbled them a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that was what Carlton's beef used to be a little bit with Will. It's like, why is everyone like, Will, I look at all the things I have, and it's like, well, you have all those things, but that doesn't necessarily make you cool. Like Will comes through from this different environment where like you had to kind of be a little more creative and whatnot.
Well, he lived in and I won't say like the ghetto-ish area, right?
It's Philly, man.
It is what it is. But yeah, so we'll say Fresh Prince, Friends, Golden Girls would be another one.
For me, Saved by the Bell was one. I like Saved by the Bell a lot.
Saved by the Bell or Boy Meets World. That's another one.
It's a cool show. I wasn't as into it as everyone else was, but I like Topanga because, that was the first time I saw a white girl with a black name. I thought that was pretty
Topanga's
cool.
a black girl name?
It sounds like it. Doesn't Topanga sound like a hood chick?
Well, dude, like
I was with Shaquiqui and Topanga at the grocery store. I saw her.
Okay, let's not go there.
She sounded ratchet as hell, but I still love her. Topanga, she's a goat.
All right, so now we're going to get into a little bit of debate right here. Next question I have. What's an anime was iconic for you now as an adult?
Holy crap. I'll be here all day.
You gotta pick one, my guy. So let's say like within the last couple of years. Like new generation anime.
Well, I guess I'll pick a depressing one, especially with how it ended, but Attack on Titan was pretty crazy.
Boy, here we go.
Yeah.
Just you're going to go Attack on Titan, really?
Well, it was pretty iconic. Like the ride was unlike anything I've...
You know what? I will give you, it had a lot of iconic moments, like when the Colossal Titan attacked.
Do we want to give a spoiler one, or do we want to keep it spoiler free? I don't know.
Dude, it's been spoiler warning if we're gonna ruin this for you guys. Yeah. So fast forward if you need to.
Technically, the whole anime is a spoiler, actually.
Well, if you read the manga, the entire anime is a spoiler, anyways. Yeah. But they didn't even do the same.
But that's what the guy did, though. He literally revealed what was gonna happen while he was telling the story. You just didn't realize it. That's why that was the iconic part. Like everything that was happening, like he gave hints to like. And you didn't realize until you watch again, and he's like, "Yo, he showed you how things are." Like, there's little things like,
subtle things.
So I'm gonna spoil it. So you know how Reiner and Annie and those people were from the outside world and were trying to kill them. That they were Titan shifters. So there's little stuff like, okay, when Reiner got injured and they're trying to, and they saw the female Titan killing everybody, and he pretended to attack the female Titan so they can escape. There's a little thing there where like he showed his face. So Annie could see that it was him and not one of the other scout people, so he wouldn't kill him. Stuff like that. Him, when he got, when the Titans, the Titan shifters get injured, there's steam that lets out where they heal themselves. Well, he got an injury. You could see in the scene there where he got I think he got stabbed for a little bit and then people were helping him. There was steam coming out of his injury. And you didn't realize, like probably like there's little stuff like that they did all along. They were like, holy crap. Like, like even when they were looking for, they found the different ruins outside of Paradise, and you saw like they saw tuna cans and coffee and stuff like that. They're like, what is this black liquid? What is this writing here? And it's like,
they were oblivious to the true outside of the world, right?
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting concept. For me right now, to add to this too, I gotta say I would say Jujutsu Kaisen and also My Hero for me, because I'm a big My Hero fan.
I actually just got caught up on that.
My Hero?
Yeah, Shigaraki is crazy.
Oh yeah, Shigaraki is a psycho.
Yeah, but it was cool. That's cool to see how they all for one come back and everything like that. But I will say about Jujutsu Kaisen, like definitely as far as, because I consider them, all those ones like of the new school now, that Solo Leveling is another one.
You know what? Good. Solo Leveling, very good show.
It was incredible.
And I do, for those people that are listening, I do recommend also reading it. Very great art.
Yes, I'm personally, I like seeing things animated, but I do know about stuff. Like I know about the stuff, but I try to avoid as much as I can because I like the reveal as I watch it. But yeah, it's really cool.
Okay, all right. So that's our take on iconic anime for this generation.
Yeah.
But all right. So my next question. This one's an interesting one, I think. What superpower to you is iconic? A superpower that's iconic, in your opinion? It's not necessarily the strongest move, but I always found it so cool because of the perspective of doing it. And like, I always had an affinity with people that could stop time. I always thought that was so fun. What is this, Dio?
So not just that, but like, okay, this is going to be something like, remember Card Captors? The dude that had the time card? Like,
oh my God, yes.
Yeah. So I thought that was so cool. Like when he would do it and everything else was, see, it always went to like a different shade, and that you're moving and everyone else is frozen. Like I always thought that was so cool.
So the concept of just stopping time for like a brief moment.
Yeah. And you just being there, like I'm moving right now and everyone else can't, and they don't know what's happening. And I'm just here, and like I can do whatever I want in this selected amount of time, and I have full control. And there's it's like a loud silence almost. It feels like. And I just always had an affinity that I just like that. But
I can respect that.
But as far as like, probably the most iconic powers, like outside of the super strength, the super speed, and things like that, maybe just like, I think chakra is a cool power. Like if people actually had chakra and could do things like that. I won't really
consider that. That's more of like so my question's more towards, like, I would say like, like flight, super strength, right? Maybe like invulnerability.
Okay.
Like you could say chakra is one, because let's be honest. When Mike Guy did his last gate thing, let's be honest, no one expected for him to do what he did.
Yeah.
Now that honorable mention, Mike Guy is the GOAT when it comes to that.
Interesting. Yeah, no, it's the ability to teleport would be convenient as far as modern days. If I could teleport,
so like kind of like a Nightcrawler teleporter, or is it like, are we talking about like you just think of a place you can just get there,
like Cecil from Invincible? Like I can just appear anywhere.
Oh God,
I can just appear anywhere, anytime I want. I would never be late for work. I could go back and forth if I want to, and if I had unlimited ability to do so,
hey, you would save so much money on gas.
There you go, man. Like it would be very convenient for.
But honestly, I feel like you would always be late.
I would still probably be late, but that's besides the point.
That's not besides the point. Let's be honest on that. All right, guys. So those are most of the iconic questions I had. But right now, we're just going to, have a little chat, talk a little bit more. But some honorable mentions for TV shows. If you are Canadian, you know what I'm about to mention. My good friend, Disciple, got me a little something that he purchased.
Oh.
That I want to talk about. If anyone here is a fan of the series Reboot, and if people know what a Guardian is and who Bob is, you know his partner Glitch, which is a little device that is able to transform or analyze, do anything that Bob needs him to do.
Literally can do anything.
I will say, you could say Bob with the most basic white name was a very iconic dude.
He was very iconic. To be honest, he could have been on my list too. Bob was, like I said, one is too hard. I could give you a list. Like Bob is up there with Jason David Frank, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, Bob's up there. Just to kind of give you guys a description, he ordered me a 3D printed of Glitch, which honestly, I really appreciate it. I always cherish things that my friends get me, so I do like the little gesture, so I want to say thank you.
Yeah, no problem, buddy. It glows in the dark.
Yes, which I think it just needs the UV sun to actually get it. That's why it's kind of like a little, so I think it just needs to be exposed to sunlight.
Yeah.
But so if you guys are a fan of Reboot, that is a very good show. And one thing a lot of people didn't know, and I didn't know this as a kid, was the fact that it's all computer reference. Like I obviously learned about it later. But
it's like so here's old school computer references, like freaking like 90s stuff. Like we don't even use majority of the things that they talk about.
Let's be honest. So here's a question for you to bring up. In that show, particularly, since we're going to talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah.
Was the most iconic episode, or I guess like scene or something that happened in the show that you'd be like, I will remember this till the day I die?
Okay, that's easy for me. For one, it's an easy question. So for me, as much as Bob is the GOAT in that show, the thing that really got me like hype was Adult Matrix, Adult Enzo.
Oh yeah,
Without question, the most iconic moment was when he beat the dog piss out of Megabyte, because who would have thought over all these years that little Enzo would be the one to grow up into this big, jacked badass that beats the dog piss out of Megabyte.
And you want to know what's even the funnier part? Megabyte didn't see that coming.
Nope. No, he did not. He was still thinking he was the little boy Enzo, and he was talking his trash. And one punch let him know, like, yo, this is serious.
So to give some people context who haven't watched Reboot, there is a character named Enzo. This character was like...
He's supposed to represent us. Like, he was like the little kid watching.
He was like, he looked up to Bob and he wanted to be a guardian.
Yes.
which is a person that protects the mainframe of wherever their location is.
Right.
So, to give people context, this is not a spoiler because the show has been done for years now. Enzo purposely lost what is called a game in his series to kind of save, in a way, himself. But a lot of people don't know this because people miss this, which I want to bring up. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But the fact that he did game hopping and he was going into other zones, he actually sped up his aging process.
Exactly. His time was relevant to him. Like him and Andrea, they accelerate. You compile faster. That means he built data up because of his file or zip, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, he built up faster, like in the time that they were in mainframe. So
yeah. This brings me another thing. I have a theory. If Matrix now was to become a guardian, right? Because technically he is a guardian. He's a level 1 guardian.
Yeah.
He would be considered the most powerful guardian ever.
True.
Right?
It's all like solo leveling.
No, yeah. Like all he did was like super strength training.
Yeah. Because
like the man is jacked. I'm still trying to figure out how he got a tattoo.
Because he's just a gangster like that.
Yeah, man's gangster.
Where'd he get the gun, bro? The guy had the
Don't
strap.
question it. Don't ask it. It's like asking how he got the golden eye.
What even is a renegade? Like the man just said, yo, I'm that. And then we're just
I'm
like,
a
okay.
renegade.
I'm like,
dude,
okay.
He listened to He listened to Eminem's song, I'm a Renegade, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
And Andrea, let's be honest,
she's the baddie. She
was
baddie.
Latino, let's be honest. And she was from Atlantis.
Yeah.
And she was from a game that became a Sprite.
There you go. They had so many references in that show. we could go on for days about the references.
Oh, you want to know who was a scary thought, though?
What was that?
Hexadecimal.
Yeah, she was scary. She was too obsessed with Bob. She was like...
But let's be honest.
She was on some...
Let's be honest. Evil Hexadecimal, you'd secretly be like, yeah, she a little hot.
Okay, I know this is a PG show, but would you let Hexadecimal with a mask, would you let her give you Lele?
Like, some people are not going to know what Lele is.
That's what I'm trying to keep PG for your people, man. Are they going to give you...
So it's like a smash or pass kind of thing.
Yeah, would you hit Hexadecimal? Would you smash?
Sure, why not?
Really? You would smash the girl would wave her hand on her face and would change it to... Do you see those teeth?
Close the light. Teeth? Close the light, my guy.
Wow,
Do it in the dark.
Well, I think it goes without saying that you'd catch a virus.
Literally, yeah.
Hey, man, would you at least wear protection?
Obviously.
I'm just like...
I'm still trying to curious where freaking baby sprites come from.
Yeah, would you... how would you even wrap it up with Hex? She would do...
Dude, computer program. Don't worry about it. Let's not get into it. You're just adding to insult to the injury.
The reason why I can't say yes, because you saw how she was with Bob. It's not like you're gonna... No, you're not gonna have any say within the parameters.
But here's the thing.
She might do... she'll be into the kinky stuff.
No, let's be honest. But Hexadecimal is a real one. Because when Bob, who was being controlled by Damon at the end of the series, she's like, and this is how you know she's a real one.
Yeah.
She learned from her lessons in the sense of she went to the little version of Enzo and being like, I'm going to make sure you don't become that guy. Which
is very gaslighty because viruses destroyed his home. So you can't
But here's the thing. I think, because here's the thing. There is, a lot of people don't know this, but there is viruses. Like antivirus is a type of virus.
Yeah.
Right? So I think... because she became a sprite and then became a virus again, she understands what it's like to be both. She is both. And then she is the reason why the whole mainframe itself, the whole world in that universe, was saved by her.
Yeah. The Damon thing was definitely crazy. I wish it ended with the Damon thing.
And honestly, it should have ended with the Damon thing and then Bob and Dot got married, but then the whole two Bob things, and then it ended on a cliffhanger. Guys, if you don't know, it really shafted a lot of people. I would have been cool if they released a comic book series to end the show that way.
We're all still mad. Everyone's still mad.
Very salty. Very salty to this day.
This man started a hunt that he never finished.
But yeah, Megabyte was also...
iconic. A Megabyte is iconic.
Oh, yeah. Very iconic. I think my very favorite episode...
Rest in peace to Tony J, the original voice actor.
Of Megabyte?
Yeah, but I believe his name is Tony J. As an Englishman.
R.I.P. to him. But, bringing that up, one of my favorite episodes is when it's Enzo's birthday.
Oh, the guitar.
Oh, so dude, it felt like Guitar Hero versus bro. This man pulls up in a coffin. Comes out of a coffin out of like it was an Undertaker reference.
It was.
And then he pulls out a guitar and then he's like crank it to 11.
He starts
and then he starts like shredding it.
Yep.
Shredding it.
Him and Bob are just going in, and just like you're just like I remember watching that as a kid.
Bob is like, oh hell no. And he grabs Glitch from his wrist. It's like
when he was the command, he's like Glitch something, and then
I know it's a reference to a type of guitar. It's like a famous guitar.
Yeah.
And then him and like Bob start shredding it, and like this is how you know Megabyte was like the GOAT. It'd be like, I could be a good guy. I'm gonna do it for one day because it's the kid's birthday. Yeah. Gives Enzo the guitar. Happy birthday, Enzo. Man dips in the limo.
Yeah, and that was the other thing that I liked about it, like with Megabyte and everything like that. Yeah, he did some awful things and whatnot, but like you can tell in moments like that he probably liked everybody. He probably at his core was like, I like this place, I like these guys. But as a virus, like he had no control. He's a virus. He can't go against his code. Like this is what viruses do. So he had to do it.
So guys, we're gonna end the show or the pod today. We don't got much to talk about, but I want to thank you to my guest right here.
You're
Disciple right now. So you want to tell anyone that could get some of in hands of your content?
Yeah, man. I do have a YouTube channel. That's I believe it's I Know Bino, or actually no, it's Disciple now because I was changing the handle on a couple times. Yeah. But if you search Disciple Music on YouTube, you can see all my stuff. I also have an album on all platforms. It's called Clyde Bigsby, which is, if you guys know, that reference is from Modern Family.
Very big Modern Family reference.
Huge Modern Family fan. I use that as an inspiration for my album because of just I love the whole character of Phil and Clyde Bigsby. And even though it's it's something that you wouldn't see coming, again, kind of like, with us, like, it would be like, yo, you're a rap album by Modern Family. This gotta be whack.
Which I gotta admit, guys, I've listened to his album several times. Pretty good.
Thank you. It's definitely interesting. And I got actually, my next one, the concept is even weirder. So it's kind of like an MF Doom influence where like you have these unusual things that you relate your stuff to, but I'm making another one based off of the influence of Mr. Bean.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I remember we spoke about that.
I'm going to call it Black Bean.
Jesus. But anyways, so that's if you guys want to find out, follow him on YouTube. He does a bunch of stuff there. This is your boy IconNick and Mr. Disciple. We're going out for the night.